This is the story of a man named
편안.
Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on the keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And
개꿀아냐?
although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job.
야, 개꿀 아닌가?
Stanley was happy.
그치. 현명하네.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself
맨날 일하고
unable to
있는
move for the
시키는 대로
longest
일했는데
time.
지시가 없다
But
오늘?
as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
아니 바본가? 일이 안 와. 일이 안 오네? 개꿀 하면서 그냥 좀 앉아서 쉬면 되는 거지. 밖에서 커피나 뽑아봅시다.
All of his co-workers were gone.
야, 왜 닫어?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
아니 나 메모 찾으려고 한 건데?
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
뭐래?
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour
그래.
after all.
커피 먹을
Just
수
to spend
있겠다
a
여기서.
few moments here in
먹고
this
돌아가자.
immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
커피 조공해.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
뭐 이상한 아저씨네요. 이거 이 아저씨.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it.
아이 시끄러 조용히 좀 해.
I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
어? 진실을 알고 싶으면은 뭐지 터미네이터. 아니 터미네이터 맞나? 아닌데 매트릭스 빨간 약 파란 약. 그게 빨간색이랑 파란색이랑 뭐지? 진짜 색깔이 뭐지? 잠깐만요. 매트릭스에 빨간 약 먹을지 파란 약 먹을지 선택하라는 거 있잖아요. 빨간 약을 먹으면은 갈 때까지 가는 거고, 파란색은 가짜에다가 적응하고 삽니다. 그러니까 진짜를 알기 위해 빨간색으로 가는 거지.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The
뭐야?
two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just...
아니 얘가 나 가뒀어.
And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
뭐야, 두 갠데? 어느 쪽으로 가지?
What do we want? What are we looking for?
이 녀석 왜 이렇게 말을 재수없게 해? 오, 뭐야 이게?
Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, No, wait. Where are you going?
아니 일 달라고 일!
Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
어? 아니
Please,
직장에서 지금
no,
이거 보려고 온
Stanley,
거야?
let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
저인가 보구나. 뛰어내릴 뻔했네. 여기 아니야?
Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing. No! Oh, thank God. You lived. You had me worried there for a... No. What are you doing,
문 열어.
Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before.
문 열어. 너 이거 열 때까지 지금 뛰어내릴 거야.
Why are you doing this?
문 열어 저거.
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it?
문 열어. 이거 열 때까지 지금
To kill yourself to keep me from being
지금 이거 열 때까지 뛰어내릴 거야.
reading the situation correctly. Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore.
문 열어.
Just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours. Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
어? 뭐야, 처음으로 돌아온 거야?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
아, 이게 엔딩 하나 본 거라고요? 아니 내가 제일 처음 본 엔딩이
Two open doors. He entered the door.
내가 제일 처음 본 엔딩이 이세카이로 가버리는 엔딩이야? 그래 시킨 대로 해줍시다.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk?
뭐야?
All because he believed
똑같은 데를 반복하고 있는 것 같은데?
his boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close
문 닫히고
automatically
있었어?
behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that it had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above.
이 반복 작업은 참 좋아하죠.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought.
하루 왼종일 떠든 거
He thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams. The truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his
하루 왼종일 떠드네.
the press of the mattress on his back.
그냥 사장실 곱게 갈 걸 그랬다.
Fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself.
일어나면 또 거기 거 원래대로 올 거 아니야.
I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
뭐야? 끝난 게 아니었어?
Stanley began screaming, Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Eh?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
아이. 아이.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that.
빨리 신어줘, 예.
This couldn't go anywhere except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do.
아이,
Now
빨리.
it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
에휴. 에휴. 에휴, 엔딩 줘, 예.
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted.
에휴.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
에휴.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong... But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
오, 전화 왔어.
Hi, Stanley. Just wanted to leave you a message to let you know there's a few things I need you to pick up on your way home from work today. We need milk, cereal, dish soap, spaghetti, get a thing of sugar, some bread, and coffee beans, whichever ones you like. I'll give you a call if there's anything I forgot. Thanks, sweetie. See you tonight.
배를 열재 오늘. 오늘 집에서 이 파리 한번 열자고 합니다. 이것저것 먹으면서.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and
Ew.
Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
에휴?
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
뭐야? 오 뭐야?
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
에휴? 에휴?
As Stanley picked up the phone, a white light engulfed him, filling him not just with radiance, but with hope. Hope
받았는데?
for a life reunited one... Wait. Oh, goodness. Stanley, did you just unplug the phone? No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to
아니
one
그러니까
another. Music comes in.
I'm fine, thank you, and you 하면은
Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect.
How are you doing 하면은 I'm fine, thank you, and you 해야지 지금. 얘가 답변을 똑바로 안 하네. 뭐 그런 거야 나보고?
How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're
How are you
Stanley.
doing 하면은
You're
내가
a real
I'm fine,
person.
thank you, and you 해야 돼?
I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
와 비디오.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice. He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack."
와.
Excellent. Making choices on a regular
How are you
basis
doing?
is the best
하면은
part to a
I'm
healthy
fine, thank you, and you 안 하면
decision-making
사람이
process.
아니래요.
Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, If you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Ah, welcome back.
Well-
You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
에휴? 뭐야? 수험장수네요?
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and
Ah.
dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That
왜
story
뛰어내릴
would
수도
make
있지?
no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it
Aye.
seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality. Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
어?
Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
어? 여기 근데 세상이 붕괴돼. 세상이 대충 망해 있네. 지금 보니까. 어때?
It's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work?
얘 진짜 화났어 지금.
What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to. I have to.
오! 오!
I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You, who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run into the ground.
게임 끝났대.
What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see?
엔딩 다 봤다.
Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child.
Yeah, five.
My story. You've seen it. There was a whole underground facility.
너무 얘기가 지루해가지고 알탭했는데.
Victorious.
미안.
Perfect. I worked so hard. Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task.
아니 너무 얘기가 지루해가지고 알탭 좀 했었어. 알탭 하는 동안에도 그냥 좀 계속 말려서 떠들면 안 되나?
Set of two open doors. He entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry.
아.
Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry.
아니 너무한 거 아니야?
Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first.
야, 이 정도 했으면 그냥 보내줘라 좀.
Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry.
아.
Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first.
아니 왼쪽으로 칼 수밖에 없게 해놨어.
Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
여기가 사장실?
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions.
Oh?
And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Nightshark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
Nightshark 115. 뭐? 음성인식이야?
Stanley spoke the code. Nightshark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
에이, 음성인식이 어딨어? 나이트샤크 115.
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise we can't get on with the story.
야, 마이크 연결 안 하는 사람 있으면 어떡하려고 너 게임을 이렇게 만들었어? 어?
Okay, fine, you're not gonna do it, but you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your
이거
respect.
동물 학대야 이거?
The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward.
뭐야?
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
근데
Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Is everything all right? Stanley, this is important.
뭔데?
The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay. It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
으악! 아니 너무한 거 아니야?
A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather.
하나도 안 보이는데 날씨가? 아 이거는 시키는 대로 한번 해줍시다.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors,
라고 할 줄 알았냐? 나도 잠수 탈 거다. 물 좀 떠올게요. 뭐야, 얘 왜 안 와요? 뭐라고 안 했어요? 저 없는 동안에? 아, 그래. 말하는 대로 한번 들어줍시다.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
뭐야?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again
맵이
stunned
바뀌었는데?
to discover
그때
not an
이렇게 안
indication
생겼는데,
of
아까?
any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845.
뭐야, 이거 어떻게 알아?
But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
네가 어떻게 하냐니까?
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination... Stanley simply began entering random codes into the keypad, knowing full well the sheer statistical unlikelihood that this would ever
아니, 이게 아니야?
result in a correct combination. 2845.
아, 이게 아니야? 야, 이거 사기네.
Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself. And
Oh.
Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
야, 개꿀. 아니, 저기 대놓고 너무 오라는 것 같더라. 가는 수밖에 없나? 오! 밑에 바뀌었네요. 로딩이네. 그 엔드 이즈
Descending deeper into the
그런
building,
식이었는데.
Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the
뭐야?
large door that read Mind Control Facility.
중심지배기관? 멋있다. 오, 이스케이프!
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
야, 아무리 그래도 정신지배기관은 좀...
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on
아,
track.
그래? 뒤에 열려있대요? 뒤로 갑시다, 그러면.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
오, 어두워진다. 오! 으어. 뭐야?
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his
You can jump.
he reflected
Oh!
that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
안돼! 아! 어?
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated, as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him
넌 누구야?
instantly.
어? 어? 스탄리
And yet it would be
파랍을
just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
아니
When
이 여성
every
나레이터분은
path
누구지?
you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
뭐야? 투 도어. 이 자식들 나를 이렇게 하려고. 계획을 다 해놨던 거구나. 날 조지려고. 길이 또 많아요. 왜 왼쪽 오른쪽이지? 아니 왜 이렇게 길이 많지? 어? 나레이션 아웃테이크스. 맞아요, 팝하고. 프리덤 엔딩. 오 뭐야? 탈출할 수도 있어? 게임 is now paused. 이런 맵은 본 적이 없는데? 트레일러. 벤트? 뭐야? 아파트먼트 타이머? 아무튼 날 이런 곳에 가둬 뒀단 거 아냐. 좋아, 탈출하자.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
이건 안 드셔.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
야, 네가 불 껐으니까 안 보이는 거지.
But listen to me. You can
Oh!
still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice.
아니 멈출 수 나갈 수 있다는데 네가 나가라니까 왠지 나가기가 싫다?
Don't have time to...
어? 뭐야? 왜 불이 안 켜져? 아니, 너무하네. 노 세이브 게임. 어.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door
왼쪽 안
on his
가봤죠?
left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go,
어?
from here it's, left.
아. 뭐 이게 열리는 게 아니었어? 나 이렇게 2개 했길래 야. 어느 쪽이 왼쪽이 열린다고 해가지고 봤더니 이쪽이 열려버리네?
Oh, no.
Ah.
No, it's to the right. My mistake.
되게 섭하다, 친구야.
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on,
you-
please?
이 자식이.
Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right.
위.
Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
진짜 왼쪽이네?
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish
와요.
now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't want
그래,
to...
네가 잘했어야지.
Okay, from the top. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be...
뭔데?
Did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago.
뭐야, 문 왜 이렇게 많아?
But it's here somewhere. Okay then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
오호! 어? 맵이 왜 이렇게 넓어?
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
야, 뭐야?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
미팅 룸.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong.
Oh?
It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
야, 문이 없는 거지 뭘 놓쳐? 어?
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
어?
Now this... Well, I'll be honest. I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley?
뭐야?
Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job.
땡큐!
Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
뭐야?
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line.
와, 스탠리 패러블 어드벤처 라인.
How simple is that?
아시는구나. 어? 이런 데 없었는데?
You see, the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct
오, 뭐야?
of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office in fact the skeleton of my own relative
개판이구만.
experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
노래가 이렇게 신나도 되는 거야?
Wait, cut the music. Go back and look at that fern.
어?
Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you
이거 뭔데?
study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
얘기해봐. 뭐 양치식물 설명해주는 거 아니었어? 이상하다 진짜.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
선 넘네.
Still missing the doors. Did we make a mistake following the line? Perhaps we could have found the story on our own.
뭐야? 또 여기야?
Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Well, I can't take this anymore.
이거나 드셔.
Restart.
똑바로 해라 이번에는.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us?
뭐야 어쩌라는 거야
Intelligent
그러면?
people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
야 문이 여기밖에 없잖아. 뭘? 이쪽은 어때요야?
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story
뭐야
to
또
be?
갇혀 있는데?
Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
오 신기하다. 다각형 구조면은 그게 있어야 되는데. 사각으로 도는데 막 뺑뺑 돌다가 갑자기 길이 생기네. 신기하네. In course.
Oh, no, not
뭐야?
you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
아니 근데 저 구석에 TM이라고 쓰는 건 뭐예요? 이게 뭐의 약자야? 트레이드마크?
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
야. 뭐야?
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this
뭐가 이렇게
goes?
많어?
It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really?
뭐야 이거 왼쪽 오른쪽 다 열어봐야 여기랑 똑같은 거 아니야?
I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't
아니, 뭐야?
do it. I won't do it.
아니, 탈출은 내가 하는데 왜 네가 그래?
Stopped? Does that mean did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The,
아니 탈출은 내가 하는 건데 왜 갑자기 지가 탈출하고 싶어하는 거야?
How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay.
문 열어 빨리.
I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime...
어 깜짝아.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
뭐야? 그게 엔딩이야?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
아니 뭐 엔딩이 그래?
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
오. 여기가 벤트구나 여기가.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk.
아 그래 그만
That
얘기해.
kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming new age music.
잠깐만 이거 저작권 걸리는 거 아니야?
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
자, 정신개조 들어가자.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
와, 렌즈.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed.
Whoa.
Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
근데 뭐 회사 입장에서 직원이 잘하는지 보는 거는 뭐 당연한 거 아니야? 뭐가 문제지?
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
야, 너가 뭘 모르나 본데. 나 여기 오기 전에 하고 싶은 대로 했어. 어? 하고 싶은 대로 하다가 네가 불쌍해가지고 여기 한번 와준 거야.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
다 뭐야 다. 지네. 이 외국에서도 이거 4를 그러라고 하나? 일본은 똑같이 하긴 하잖아요. 아, 외국에서는 6이야? 근데 6이 아마 그거죠? 그 사탄의 숫자라고 하죠? 외국에서는? 그래서 악마의 숫자라고 하지? 외국에서는. 오! 혈사포! 뭔지 모르겠으니까 일단 가야죠. 마인드 컨트롤 아이돌 웨이팅 인풋.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this
깜짝이야. 아니, 내가 누르긴 했는데 잘못 눌렀다니까?
blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
갇혀있는 것 같은데?
Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or
불만 이웃이 후리담
that he
엔딩?
had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed.
야,
It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
저 오픈 누르지 않나요, 근데?
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen.
시작?
Stanley was happy.
와, 스탠리 JP. 와, 클리어 도전까지 달성. Beat the game. 어? 아, 스피드런도 있어? 아. 뭐 전화 왔어.
Good morning.
네, 알았어. 좀 이따가 우리 놀러 가자 이거지?
We are confirming your shipment of 1,327
스피드런 늘 가자.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
그럼 재시작하고 스피드런 한번 해봐요. 오, 뭐야?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
아니 맵이
Stanley
바뀌었는데?
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
뭐지?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
아니 너 뭐야 왜 열려있어? 이 무자식이 열려있으면 말을 해줘야지. 그만 떠들어. 타임어택 탈 거니까.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television
알았어, 빨리
screens.
내려가.
What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
프리덤, 프리덤.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible.
아니
to
괜찮아,
believe it
알았어.
couldn't be
말
true.
정신줄이 할 수도
Had Stanley
있지.
really been
문
under
열어 빨리.
someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it
아이 문
blindly?
열어, 괜찮아. 그럴 수 있지. 난 정신줄이 할 수 있다 생각해.
He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control.
아이 누가 조종해주면 좋지.
It
고마운
was
고마운 일이지.
unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly
그럼.
blind to the world?
행복했으면
Was the
됐지.
proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this
On?
machinery... Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control?
네, 지배해주세요.
Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If
아이,
you want to throw
지배해주세요.
my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the
삼폭장
network's
지었어?
emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then?
와, 폭발 엔딩.
2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much.
오, 뭐야 이거 색깔 맞추는
You know
것도
what?
있나?
To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or
아니
maybe
어떻게
this big
할 게
red
없어서
button.
누르는 거야?
Or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless, to see you made humble. This is not a challenge, it's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life? Or
아니
will you let it
폭발이
go?
엔딩이야. 폭발 엔딩.
Choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me. All a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever up.
아. 자, 타이머텍 들어가자.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
In course.
Here's the door, just go.
아 그래요, 고마워요. 지금 도와주고 있어요, 나레이터가.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
아 이거 그거 아니에요? 이게 찐엔딩 아니었어?
The lights rose.
이거 보면은 뭐냐 4분 22초 안에 깨기 그렇게 돼 있잖아요.
On an enormous room packed with television screens.
나는 그래서 그 탈출 엔딩을
What
4분
horrible
22초
secret
안에
did
보라는
this
줄 알았지.
place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his
엘리베이터 줘.
boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machine...
에휴.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
에휴.
Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened,
아니야.
Stanley reflected
난
on
도전
how
과제가 더
many
중요해.
puzzles
빨리 열어줘.
still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp?
아니 안 궁금해.
What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what
와,
to do.
하이어버텍 뒤로 하겠다.
Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
뭐야?
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
하이어버텍 도전 과제 쇼? 왜 안 주냐고? 이거 왜 안 주냐고 이거? 그쵸? 도전 과제 중에 5년간 플레이 안 하기가 있고 Impossible to get this 이 어치브먼트를 얻기는 힘들 거다 뭐 그런 거라서 특히
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply
아니
missed a memo.
다 한 거 같은데? 알아? 이런 데가 있었나?
When Stanley came to a set of
어?
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go anywhere.
아이! 오 뭐야?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
아니 바닥에 이게 무슨
Stanley
일이야?
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful.
저왜 파랑이?
Let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked... All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you.
오호.
You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest.
야, 5점 만점 드리겠습니다.
Feedback here. Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my
그래.
soul.
이 긍정적으로 생각을 해야지.
Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
어 뭐야? 오, 스탠리 패러블 월드와이드. 야, 난 몇 등이야? 에? 꼴등?
Now,
0.02초는
would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
저거 중국인.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
오, 게임 고고모.
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right.
야, 아무래도 애는 너무 시트키 아니냐?
It's a very meaningful game. All about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family.
애가 일로 들어가면은
I think the
사람들이 날 뭐라고
really
하겠냐고.
take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
오케이. 예. 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 아응해요. 이걸 4시간을 어떻게 눌러?
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely
플레이
valuable.
주셔서 감사합니다.
Okay, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game, just to ease the pain? Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
역시 게임은 스탄리. 오?
Well, Stanley, is this any better? At last, the one thing you've always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough? Well, I'll say
스틸리.
this.
아니
I'll
나레이터
make it
점프가 안
for
돼요.
you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house.
점프가 안 된다고요.
This will go here. No,
어?
here. And then...
아니 집을 흙으로 지어. 미쳤나봐.
Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze
진짜
upon
못
my work of
만든다.
art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy. But you've only seen it from the outside. You've only
토끼물이라고요?
half the experience.
오히려
Please
좋아.
step inside and make yourself comfortable.
이굴 오히려 좋아. 야, 안 들어가지는데?
Isn't it
됐다.
grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
어.
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light? Oh, no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
어?
Yes! I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You, trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh,
야, 총 어딨어?
inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out.
오, 1호 집는 것도 돼요?
Oh, I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
에퍼처.
Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your
에휴?
forte. Genius.
에휴. 야, 개쩐다. 아니 뭐지? 이게 왜 안 눌리지? 내가 물리 법칙을 알아냈다. 야, 이게 안 눌리네. 개쩔잖아.
No, actually, you know what?
Oh.
I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these games, and I highly doubt you're any wiser for the experience. Which is why, rather than continue to waste my time,
우후! 뭐야? 안 죽어? 어? 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 뭔데? 아니 내보내줘. 어?
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to
아,
tell
맞아요.
him.
그
He
큐브
needs me.
문에 걸쳐놓은 상태에서
Someone
문
who will
열어가지고
wrap
버릴
everything
수도
up at the
있는데.
end,
그것도 한번
make
해볼까?
sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world.
얘가 그것도 알려나?
Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
아이?
Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in? How is that possible? They never stopped. Surely I was mistaken. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
아, 이제 슬슬
And
그냥
here it was, the lounge.
보려던 거 다 본 거 같은데 한
But
번씩?
eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
그러면은 이 세계 엔딩 말고 돌아가자고 할 때 돌아가는 거 한번 해보자.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years
이
ago.
제일 처음에 본 엔딩이 이세카이 엔딩이잖아요. 이세카이 엔딩 말고
Look, Stanley, I
가자는
think
대로
perhaps
가보자.
we've gotten off on the
돌아가자고
wrong
할 때
foot
돌아가
here.
보자고.
I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time.
크레딧 봤냐고요?
Really? I was in the
엔딩
middle of
크레딧이요?
something. Do you have zero
아까 봤죠?
consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
설마 이
Oh, thank God you are willing to
아닌가?
listen to me.
크레딧?
Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't
아이 문
here.
열어.
Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you. What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place,
와.
Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
이쁘긴 하네요. 그런데 뭐 어쩌라는 거지? 오! 네. 다음. 오래 있으면 뭐가 있지 않을까? 별들도 다 사라졌네요? 아니야, 지금 빨간색이야, 지금. 야. 그리고 아무 일도 없었다. 다시 별들이 생겼네요. 아이 뭐야, 무한반복이잖아.
No, wait. Where are you going?
야, 여기 하루 왼쪽에 살게 할 거야, 그러면은?
Oh no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. No! Oh, no. No, no, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this? Stanley, let's go back to
그래,
the
특별히
other
돌아가
room.
주지.
Yes. Perhaps you can. Perhaps you finally see what I'm talking about. I know
30초 안에 진행해.
You'll see that we can't be happy if we leave this
30초 안에
place.
진행 안 하면 한 번 더
Can't you?
떨어지러 갈 거야. 진행 안 해? 무자식이.
No, perhaps not. My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly? Or maybe you actually want to stay alive? Or are you just teasing me?
널 놀리고 싶어요.
I wanted us to be happy here, Stanley. I really did. I wish I still thought that was possible.
엔딩 얼추 다 본 것 같은데?
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
다 본 것 같은데? 크레딧. 왼쪽 문 계단이 밑에랑 오른쪽 벤트. 그거 하지 않았나요? 아닌가? 왼쪽 문 계단 밑에 하니까 무슨 막 이상한 여자애가 나와가지고 야, 이 새끼 뒤져 있는데 그래도 나 정도만 행복한 듯? 뭐 이상한 그런 엔딩이던데?
This is the story of a man. Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself.
오른쪽
That's
낙사요?
all I
그거
need.
했죠.
If I can make it
그
through
차
this
쪽으로
door,
뛰어내리는
I
거.
can make it through them all. When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. It was okay.
오른쪽에서
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
그러니까 계단 말고 리프트에서 그 뭐냐 저기로 뛰어내리는
Stanley
거.
was
요
so
아래.
bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
요 아래로 뛰어내리는 거 해봤죠. 으차.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him
지가
what to
멋있는
do,
사람인 줄 아나 봐요.
Stanley leapt
그러잖아요.
from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
리프트 타고 쭉 가봤죠.
All of his co-workers were gone.
갔다가 다시
What
돌려보내는데?
could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
엔딩 다 본 듯? 리프트 타고 쭉 가면은 막 이것저것 시키는데 다시 돌아올 때 그 뭐지? 그거 안 해요. 그 뭐지? 자살 못하게 막아놓고만.
Just to admire it. It was okay. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
선택하기 전에 창문에서 뛰어내려봤냐고요? 그건 또 뭐지? 한번 해볼까?
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in
얼추 다 해본 것
someone else
같은데
can
이제
be difficult,
딱히
but the fact
그
is
제
that the
기억에서
story has been
안
about
해봤던 게 딱히
nothing
없는 것
but
같아요.
you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself.
아, 여기서 전화
To put
받는 거
your
맞다.
work aside, to let her back into your life. She's
전화 안
been
받았죠
waiting.
아까? 그래 전화 한번
That's
받아보자.
her, Stanley.
아까 여기서 그 코드 뽑았잖아. 뭐야?
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your
오!
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
당시 키보드에서 L을 누르세요.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now
뭐야?
he's going
내가
home.
스탠리 그 자체라 이거야 지금?
Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job.
왜 TV가 어딨어?
First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last,
아이 내보내줘.
choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer.
Oh?
How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this.
점점
that in this
그
world,
회사처럼
he can
변하고
never
있네.
be anything but an observer. That as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
누르지 말래요. 누르지 말아 봅시다. 언제까지? 오, 근데 이번에는 좀 특이하다. 시계가 원래 가는 효과가 다 없었는데, 이번에는 시계 가는 효과가 다 들어있네요? 야, 근데 5시 29분인데, 그, 시침이 좀 잘못 가르치고 있는 것 같다? 시계가 좀 고장난 것 같다? 5시 반이니까 이제 좀 있으면은, 정각을 딱 5랑 6의 사이에 있어야지. 시침 위에 6이 이렇게 가깝게 있어. 아니, 이거 안 누르면 또 진행을 안 시켜주나봐? 너무한 거 아니야? 아니, 누르는 수밖에 없나? 눌러!
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way?
아, 야, 나도 최대한 안
that
눌렀어.
he
근데
remains here,
네가
he's
진행을 안
electing to kill
시켜주잖아.
himself. How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again.
누구세요?
Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
네. 시작하자마자 왼쪽으로 가서 나갈 수 있다고요?
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself, that's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
의자 타고 나간 데가 없는데?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
안 낄키가 있다고요, 의자에?
All of his co-workers were... Wait, no. This isn't the right office, is it? Is this Stanley's office?
어? 어떻게? 오, 됐다. 응? 어? 안 됐다 또. 아니 어떻게 올라갔지 아까? 오! 오! 오!
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map, until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes.
잘 만들었네.
Now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
뭐야? Are you sick of this gag? 게임 이 별로냐는 거죠?
Then in that case we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place. Oh, now think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option? Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer?
맞지. 이쁜 가스네가 와가지고 했으면은 했는데.
All the narration. Oh, and this is rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option.
글라도스가 와가지고 해줬으면
See
했다.
what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky. Well now, I've built up the other options so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and ever. Cheers.
Cheers. 네. 아니 무자식이. 아이 내보내줘. 두 개밖에 없나봐요.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
할 거 다 진짜 다 해본 듯?
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
공약 보냐고요? 한번 봐볼까요? 샌디 패러블 공략. 근데 엔딩이 몇 개예요? 엔딩 너무 많은데? 엔딩 시작. 아니 이게 뭐야? 뭐 이렇게 많어? 오. 오. 윈도우의 434? 어? 이게 참 뭔지 모르겠네. 시작. 뭔 소리야? 썸타임즈. 가끔씩 파란 오피스. 오픈도어. 뭔 소리야, 이게? 너무 어렵네요, 게임이. 페이스 펀치 텍스처 체인지. 뭐지? 밑에 한글로 설명하고 있다고요? 아, 그러네. 자유 엔딩. 나갔죠? 어. 퍼플 엔딩. 퍼플 엔딩 했죠? 어, 박물관. 이것도 했죠, 이것도? 탈출 엔딩. 화장실에 살짝 들어갔다가 문이 닫힐 때 밖으로 나오자. 이건 안 했네요. 그 다음에 이것도 했고. 혼란. 엘리베이터. 했죠? 그 다음에 일벌레. 전화 받았죠? 선택 엔딩. 전화선 뽑았죠, 이것도? 낙사. 했고. 그 다음에 우주. 낙사 했죠? 파란문. 이것도 했죠? 4시간은 못하고. 문 닫는 것도 했고요. 메인 엔딩은 이 탈출 엔딩 빼고 다 했네요. 그럼 탈출 엔딩만 얼른 보고 끕시다. 딱 하나
All
남은
of
거.
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
화장실에서 문 닫힐 것 같을 때
When Stanley came to a set
나가버리라고요,
of two
그거죠?
open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
근데 어디 문을 얘기하는 거야? 이 문인가?
Here's the door, just go.
늦은데? 아니 어디 문이야? 아 리트 해야 될 것 같은데요? 리트다 리트. 한 짝짜리 문이요? 아 그래요?
Gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
그거 말고는
Perhaps
다
he had
했어요,
saved
지금
Mr.
진짜.
Memo.
메인 엔딩은 그거 하나만 남았어요.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
헛! 헛! 안되는데? 아이씨!
Here's the door, just go.
내보내줘!
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself, that's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors,
아니
he
그거
entered the
피지컬로
door
나갈
on
수도
his
있어?
left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
아니 안되는데? 아!
Here's the door.
열렸다. 됐다. 오, 뭐야? 오, 뭐야, 이게? 이게 뭐예요? 아, 그리고 양쪽 문이구만. 뭘 한쪽 문이야. 도와줘요, 파파고. 보스는 알기 때문에. 아무튼 그렇게 됐다. 오, 뭐야? 룸 클로젯. 열리는 곳이 하나 있을 거라 했죠? 오, 뭐야? 맞나? 오! You are no now. Living. 오! Escape code A 760. 모든 층이 다 똑같이 생긴 거래요. 좋아요. 하나만 올라가면 돼요. 탈출! 뭐야? 된 거야? 멀어지는 것 같긴 한데. 어. 어? 어? 이거 엔딩 중에 썸타임즈 블루 오피스라고 되어 있거든요. 이 딱은 푸른 사무실에서 시작할 때가 있다. 바로 왼쪽에 보이는 사무실을 열어보자. 오! 안 돼! 실수라고. 오, 나왔다.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided room.
왼쪽에 바로 보이는 방문을 열어보자. 오, 열린다. Welcome to the Whiteboard Ending. 와, 화이트보드! 이게 뭐지? 콘솔 마크 안 되잖아. 뭐 어쨌든 오늘은 스텔리 페러블 이까지만 합시다.